or the dust being raised by the latest attempt to reintroduce the once rejected National Water Resources Bill, as well as the Rural Grazing Area Initiative, NUGA. We're now being joined from our Abuja studio by Yabagi Sani, an engineer and national chairman of the Action Democratic Party. Sani is also a former presidential candidate of the party. Good morning, Yabagi Sani, national chairman, Action Democratic Party, and thank you for joining us on the morning show. The issue before us is the National Water Resources Bill. There's been a lot of resistance to that bill about the federal government trying to seize control of water resources in about 20 states of the Federation, and particularly the water resources around the River Benue and the River Niger. This has been an issue brought forward from the 8th National Assembly to the 9th National Assembly. We would like you to help us define what the big concerns are. And do you think it's good? It's a good position for the 9th National Assembly to say there will be no further public hearing because the 8th National Assembly has dealt with the issues. What's your take?
Good morning, Dr. Ruben. Good morning. Rufai Adeshwa, thank you very much for having me. Good morning. The issue of water resources, I think, is a very fundamental issue. It touches on nature itself, and like we all know, life itself is from water. And without quality and availability of water, life itself cannot continue to exist. So having said that, the National Assembly will actually be shirking responsibility if they do not, with all seriousness, pursue the implementation of this bill that is in front of National Assembly. Because Nigeria is very rich as far as water resources is concerned. But here again we suffer a lot of water scarcity. You ask why. If you look at the data that I've come across, that Nigeria has about 215 cubic kilometers a year water. When you compare us to other African countries, they don't come near that. Like South Africa, it's about less than 50 cubic kilometers a year water, meaning that Nigeria should not have any problem with water supply. We shouldn't, but the reasons why we are having problems with water supply is because we don't have regulations, we don't have a legal framework, we don't have the institutions, strong institutions that will ensure that water availability, its usage, and conservation is assured. So this is why we are battling with the issue of diseases, like you have things like diarrhea, you have typhoid fever, you have other waterborne diseases that we shouldn't be battling with in this country today. And this is costing the nation more than, at least, I think, about $1.5 billion, life lost, time, productive time that is lost because people cannot get access to water. So, and then when you look at it again also, the federal government is right to bring about this bill because it is within their purview. When you look at the exclusive legislative list, the item 64, I think it is, that deals with this issue of water, it allows, or it's put within the purview of the federal government to legislate on water resources between, that is within more than one state. So, and then the bill, from what I've seen, takes cognizance of the fact that the water resources within the states, are enshrined in the hands of the state governors. So they are not touching water resources within the states. They are just talking about water resources that are within more than one state, and that is given to the federal government to legislate on. Come up with regulations, come up with institutional frameworks that will guarantee that Nigerians are able to benefit from that God-given resources. You look at the issue surrounding the politics of it. The politics of it is one thing that it baffles me. Maybe the federal government itself has not done enough to inform the citizens why they are doing what they are doing. And that it has nothing to do, because some people are saying it talks about land. No. Land use decrees, land use act is there. Everybody knows about that. Federal government would not go on the rape of the Constitution by dabbling into what does not belong to them. I know that for sure. So, and when I read through what the law says, or the proposed bill says, it never talks about the land, to talk about Ruga or other things that are land related. So I think government needs to come very strongly in letting Nigerians know that this is in their interest, it's in their best interest. Even South Africa, they have an act, they have a Water Act that legislates on the minimum requirement that the quality that the environment must have, and then the people also must have. So this is about the issue of ensuring that Nigerians have access to safe drinking water, and that's very important, to everybody. So, and Nigeria, like we are so rich in water. If you remember that most of 36 states in this country are named after rivers. So that's to tell you that we are not wanting in terms of when it comes to river. I mean, when it comes to water, what is lacking is that regulation, that institutional, framework that will guarantee that we have safe drinking water, and Nigerians should not be battling with diseases, that are responsible. And when you look at that bill also, it talks about how to ensure that you engage private sector, in managing water resources. That has been lacking. You have a case of government spending billions of naira on these water resources issues like river basins, like other infrastructure on water. Take, for instance, even you mentioned River Niger. River Niger, dredging of River Niger should not be consuming so much money, but because of the politics. I understand, in the last administration, there was, before this administration, there was an effort, to ensure that River Niger was dredged to Barrow. Barrow Port, believe you me, is something that will open up the economy of this country beyond what we all imagine. And you can see, because, for instance, you can see, if we are able to, like the colonial masters did, they of course did not allow themselves to be deterred by the local politics. They run railways from the north, from the hinterland to Barrow, which is in Agaye, that is local government in Niger State. And that in the colonial days, that is in the 60s, before, they were transporting these cash crops like granules and all these things through that port, to outside the country. So, and today, look at the amount of money we are losing. Look at the amount of lives that is being lost on between Lagos and Kano and the hinterland, because we transport things by road instead of opening up this Barrow port. And if government had this bill that they want to introduce today, perhaps some private sectors will have come in. They will have managed it properly. They will have developed it in a way that will add value to the economy, not to be a drain on the economy. President Buhari launched this Barrow port about 2 years ago, and he was so excited about the idea. But nobody hears anything about it anymore. It's because there are some politics being played that for somebody will tell you that dredging of River Niger will affect the environmental impact assessment was not carried out. This was not done. If you had a commission that a private sector can engage with, not government machinery that is always entangled in some nonsense political issues that have no relevance to the economy and social life of the people. So if we had a bill like this, believe you me, what we are saying today will be a different story in terms of opening up the economy of this country. So this is why I think government must come out. The National Assembly should also do a lot by informing Nigerians, those who care to know, that this is not about disintegrating this country. This is not about restructuring, because restructuring is a different thing entirely. And even if you talk about restructuring, this is for now, restructuring should be done by the National Assembly, because they are the ones that are in charge of all these items, the one exclusive legislative list and the concurrent list. They are the ones that can take one from one list to the other. Of the Constitution.
Mr. Sani, if you allow me to come in here.
And they believe that this is what should be.
This is not a new bill. As you would know, it was thrown out at the Senate. And you talk about the politics of it. That's the same argument people who are against it pose. If the responsibility to provide potable water rests with the state water resources agencies, so it's under the purview of the state government, this bill seeks to bring all water resources and banks of water sources under the federal government through an establishment, an agency that will be established by this law. Is that not amassing the powers resided in the state government? Where is the evolution of powers here?
No, it talks about water resources channels that are within more than one state, that is in between the states, not within a particular state.
And so what happens to states like that? If you're going to make that argument, what happens to states like that?
I didn't get you because the line was going off.
I'm talking about devolution of power here and the politics of it, which you argue for. I say people also argue against that point to say the federal government is trying to usurp the powers of the state. If the responsibility of the state government is to provide their residents with potable water, and you have now taken the powers from the states, what happens to states like that?
Well, I don't think they are talking about taking the powers of the states, because the bill itself recognizes...
Go ahead.
Okay, the bill itself recognizes the fact that the states have powers over the water resources within their own domain. Each state is talking about water resources channels within more than one state. That is, like I talk about river like Barrow Port and other ports like that, dredging of River Niger. We talked about, things like you have river basins. The bill says that they are going to have about 12 strong river basins that can add a lot in terms of the agricultural development of this country and irrigation and things like that. What is my interest in this bill is the fact that it will open up the water resources management to participation by private sector. This is what is lacking in it. This is why our money is being spent. You don't know, nobody is giving any account of what has been spent. You don't have anybody to ask questions. So this is why I think Nigerians should listen and then understand what this bill is all about. It's not about dabbling into what states controls. I didn't see it in that bill. The only thing they talked about is the fact that they're going to license, that is section 99 of that bill, says they will issue licenses to those who want to sink boreholes for commercial use, not even for your own domestic consumption. Those who want to manage waters, they want to get involved in water management. You know the West, that, what the damage that pollution is doing to our water resources in this country. Look at Niger Delta today, what is happening. Look at the irresponsibility that the oil and gas sectors have embarked upon, in destroying people's lives in Niger Delta.
Okay, Engineer Sani, what people are really saying is this. Yeah. The encroachment of the land about 3 kilometers in encroaches on things like Land Use Act and state-owned land. And we've had that, fight between federal government, water bodies, and states. In fact, there was a major residential area project stalled in Lagos because of the fight between the federal government and state government, because that land was close to the water body. So that's what they are taking. In fact, I'll tell you what some lawmakers are saying. A lawmaker, Mr. Biante, did say that means states like Lagos, Benue, Niger will not exist again. That's what it means. So it's the control of the land now and the water body that surrounds the land. That's the great argument. And let me further the argument by saying, you talked about new water-based development. We have all of this. We have Ogunosho. We have all of this. Why do you need to use this again? That's the argument. A lot of people are talking about the land. Because if you see that kilometer of land, in a state like Lagos, you see that kilometer of that 3 kilometers into the water of land for the federal government. The federal government owns the state already. Then Lagos should not exist. Or other states.
But yeah, well, I think we can liken this bill to the PIB bill that has been filibustered, for long. For what reasons, I don't know. But I can tell you why. when you take example of what is happening in other countries. Because, you see, the issue of Land Use Act and the issue of this water resources bill, I think, like in the issue of also the hydrocarbon deposit in the states that have the land, that have the powers over the land management and things like that. I mean, I remember in Niger State, for instance, I initiated, during the time of Governor Babangida, the issue of how we should, fast track the development of Bida Basin so that we can begin to benefit from what God has given to us. That doesn't mean that government will not, when the federal government comes in, the Niger State government will have nothing to do with it. The land itself, the land surface belongs to the government. What is under the ground is what belongs to the federal government. And you collaborate, even in the United States of America and other federations that are loose or things like that, they collaborate. When it comes to economic, social impact that is of benefit to the people of the country, the federal government, local government, and the state government should come together and see how they can develop it. The state government does not have the power, they don't have the wherewithal, they don't have the expertise to manage water resources. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been having the problems we're having of diseases, of billions of naira spent on infrastructure that is not properly planned. So the issue is that I know that the Constitution is very clear on who has right over what. And I know National Assembly is not made up of one section of the country. Everybody is there. If it is not in the interest of a particular country, they should talk. You have a senator, you have House of Rep members. They should tell the Assembly that they are not, in support of this, and let it be seen that there's something that is being done which is against the interest of a particular section of the country. Well, but the point I'm trying to make is that this issue of economic development of African countries. Look at what is happening in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is spending about $5 billion to develop a dam. Look at what America is trying to do. They are trying to frustrate it through Egypt so that Africa will never progress. How are we sure the oil and gas sector is not being monitored from behind? Somebody is trying to put us backward. That's why the PIB bill that has been there since the time of the Rwanda Kuman, of Blade Momori, until today is still being filibuster. As if we are not Nigerians. At least these National Assembly members are not Nigerians. And this is a very important piece of legislation that will move this country forward beyond where we are today. So we must wake up. We must know that Nigeria, that others don't like this country because we have a lot of potential and we become bigger than any other country that you are thinking of today.
I would like you, Engineer Sani, to respond to specific issues. I raised the question earlier that the National Assembly is saying that there will be no further public hearing on this contentious bill, which is seen, which has been dismissed by many concerned stakeholders, including Professor Wole Soyinka, Afenifere, Pandef, Ohaneze, the Southern and Middle Belt Forum leaders, as an act of dictatorship, as an assault on the unity of Nigeria. I would like you to comment on that. And then again, if you look at this particular bill, I don't know whether you have studied it section by section. Section 2 of that bill, subsection 1, says, for example, that all surface water, groundwater, wherever it occurs, is a resource common to all people. And so in that regard, what we're dealing with here is resource control. The people who object to this bill are saying that you cannot say that the water that is in their backyard belongs to everybody in Nigeria because it's their resource and they have the right to control it. Now, Section 13 of the same bill creates about 8 agencies, all federal agencies, that will control water resources in Nigeria. And the people are saying that the federal government cannot take over water resources in Nigeria because what we're dealing with here is not just water as water. We're also dealing with water resources, including fisheries. So why should the federal government of Nigeria control water, say, in Yenagua? Again, if you go to Section 120 of this bill, Section 120 of this bill says that if you want to dig a borehole in your house, you must take permission from one of the 8 agencies, which is the National Water Resources Commission. Why should I take permission from Abuja if I want to dig a borehole? Section 121 goes further. Says that if you are doing a borehole for commercial purposes, you must take permission from an agency that is located in Abuja. These are the key issues that people objecting to this bill are talking about. But I see that you are defending it. And people are saying this is an abuse of federal principle. This amounts to dictatorship.
Dr. Abati.
Yes.
No, Dr. Abati, you know, I think, I don't know, I saw an executive letter that was written to the House of Assembly, which was read by, I think, the Speaker, and it says that that bill takes cognizance of the powers of the state as far as the waters within the state is concerned. The bill is concerned only with water resources channels in more than one state. That's what he's talking about.
But I've just quoted specific sections of the bill to you. I've just quoted specific sections of the same bill.
Yeah, I know. But
are we talking about the same bill?
I'm sure that the final bill, I'm sure that the final bill will reflect the fact that because these are constitutional provisions, they are not something that is outside the Constitution. And the same people cannot, what do you call it, you know, vandalize the Constitution. It's not possible. They will do within the otherwise it will be unconstitutional, whatever they are doing. Forget about draconian or whatever it is. What I saw in that bill is what other nations are also doing. No nation leaves its water to any any use. No, it is managed, it's controlled. In some countries, like you know, water is even more. Even in this country, we are talking about oil and gas. Water is more important than oil and gas, like we know. So the issue is that the section of the bill which you mentioned, which says all the water resources, is talking about commercial. If you are sinking borehole for commercial use, not for your own.
No, I quoted section 120.
And I don't even. You see,
121.
What is happening is that the number of boreholes that are being sunk in this country, believe me, is a threat to even the integrity of Nigeria in terms of things like these hazards, you know, like earthquake, and things like that. When you sink too many boreholes in so many places, you tamper with the integrity of the land. And that's what is happening. So government should rise up to the occasion and provide people in the right way, the right manner that you normally provide water for the citizens. That is pipe-borne water, you know. So I believe that the government should not be so absent-minded when it comes to the issue of constitution, especially the National Assembly is debating the issue. Land Use Act is known to everybody, even the man on the street. The control of resources of the water within the state is known. It is there in the Constitution. And then when you say that they say they're not going to debate, you know, the bill anymore, I think in this country we should move forward. But again, National Assembly itself is also being economical with the truth, because why are they giving us this long list of the constitutional amendments, which has been debated so many times over? We have so many submissions. We have so many presentations made to the National Assembly. Why can't they take those submissions? Nigerians have discussed this amendment to constitutions so many times over. Our money is being spent for nothing. So if they say they are not going to debate the water bill, they should not only debate some of these things. They should just pick it and they, within themselves, discuss and tell us the amendment they are bringing out, so that people can now say, yes, it's okay or it's not okay. But this jamboree, you know, thing that they want to embark upon, I'm talking about the notice issued, you know, some few days ago by the Senate, that they are going to embark on another round of, you know, wild goose chase of what is state creation and what have you, all sorts of things that we know cannot materialize. So they should also not debate those things anymore. If they are so convinced that we need state creation, National Assembly they should do it and then go to the states and get the buy-in of the states. All the items they listed there has been discussed more than so many times over. So like they say, they're not discussing the water resources bill. So also they should not discuss some of these legislation they're talking about, because they are competent enough. That's why they are there. They don't have to gather Nigerians and then spend our money, and then people will travel from one place to the other, kill themselves, go and do memos, spend so much money, and then we submit, which they'll just dump somewhere and will gather in dust and will amount to nothing. So we should be serious about how we run the affairs of this country. Not the money is not just there to be spent, the money that's not even there.
Exactly. The money is not there. At the time we are complaining about lean resources, Why are we establishing more government agencies and reinventing the already existing ones? That's one. Why do we need all these agencies if we do not have money for them? Secondly, I would like you to tell us and our viewers who benefits really from this water resources bill. How does it improve access to potable water for somebody who is in, for instance, Shomolu local government in Lagos State, or in Owan West local government in Edo State, or somewhere in Sokoto? How does that improve access to potable water?
Well, I think the state government are still, in charge of those responsibilities. They are the ones that should, ensure that they provide their citizens with water resources. I mean, water, pipe-borne water, safe drinking water, not just anyhow water. And like you rightly said, the agencies, I read somewhere in the papers, was it 2 days ago, that the Senate has said that they are going to bar some agencies of the government from taking their recurrent expenditures from the budget. I think I support that idea, and I think these agencies coming, since they are agencies that are coming for an exercise that can pay for itself, they should fund. Well, they can be given grant. Take-off grant is okay, but after take-off grant, they should fend for themselves, because they are coming to invite, to engage with the business community, so that because that's what the bill says. They want people to come in in the management of water resources and things like that. So they should pay for themselves, like Adeshua said. We don't have the money, but such legislations are crucial, are very important. They are important to your health, and I think Nigerians' health is very important. Like the wealth that we are talking about too. I don't know which one. I think health is even more important than wealth. So if these agencies will protect our health, I support it. But what I don't support, like you said, is not taking our money like you have in the Niger Delta Development Commission and the other commissions that are just money guzzlers, and then just taking our money, and then as if we don't know what we are doing. So they should come and be managed, independently of the federal government resources, that federation account, resources. So I think that can be done, because other countries, like water is privatized. The business entities are going into water production, and it's successful. So why can't we do it in Nigeria? Governors can put their thinking cap on, and then begin to invite private sector to come and take over water supply in their states. It's a very lucrative business. So these are things that can be done.
Yeah, Engineer Sani, thank you very much. The UN says water is a right. Access to water is a right. But we also know that the world faces water scarcity, and the politics of water is one of the major sources of dispute, conflict in the world. In Nigeria here, this water resources bill is being interpreted as a North versus South matter. And that, I think, is the part of it that we need to worry about. But I want to thank you very much for joining us this morning on The Morning Show.